I'm going to share with you a true story that I read. This story is incredibly painful to hear. It's a story of incredible trauma and sexual abuse. So if you're not emotionally equipped to handle a story like this, I understand. You don't need to be here if you don't want to be. But sometimes, in order to not feel alone in our suffering, we have to hear stories about the suffering of others so that we know that there are other people hurting and they made it out, and so will you. No matter what you're going through, it will end. So if you're ready, join me in hearing this terrible story. I am now almost 21. For context to understand this best, I am female. As a young child, I had a fairly good upbringing. Eventually, my parents had my brother when I was 5. Everything seemed great, until my maternal uncle passed in a severe motorcycle accident. After that day, everything changed. My mother became my lead abuser in my life until I was 12. My parents split when I was just shy of 10. She let a disgusting man into our lives, and that's when I ran to live with my father. He promised us the world, and it didn't end that way. The worst thing that ever happened to me was about to unfold. My new stepmom was the worst thing that ever happened to me. She played nice for the first few months I was there, but it didn't last long. She began to show that she was a grade A sociopath. It started with extreme groundings for fairly no reason, but the worst is when she planted fake things on my phone to show my father and destroyed my entire relationship with him out of jealousy. The following descriptions of torment may be hard for some to read. It's a light graphic warning, more emotional than anything. At 14, she claimed that I was sending dirty photos to men across country lines. This was in fact a lie. So she stripped my room of everything. Literally, the room was nothing but walls, a floor, and a ceiling. She told me that this is what sex trafficking looks like because that's obviously what I wanted. So she took it upon herself to make that a reality. It was just an excuse for her to torture me and not be held accountable as psychotic. She told me she hired someone to sell me into the sex trade, and she needed to prepare me for what that was going to look like. I slept on my floor for weeks, had to earn to change my clothing, shower, brush my hair and teeth, to eat, to have bedding to sleep with. She threatened to take me to the homeless shelter 5 hours from where I was living. The abuse was constant from the moment I woke up till the moment I slept. Constant. My everyday existence was drowned by this daily torment. I was told that I would end up dead in a ditch and that nobody would remember or care. I was locked away in this crackhead house, in my doorless room, day in and day out. Cars drove by and never glanced to see the hell I was enduring. Every day I went through this and did horrid tasks to earn what should have been considered as basic child care. I had a very extreme case of bronchitis, and she intentionally left me sick until my father took pity on me. I would collapse to the floor after a coughing fit in front of him. He decided to show some care and pitied me enough to let me be seen by a doctor. On the car ride over, I was told that if I spoke about what was going on in the house, they would sell me to the man that parked his van down the street from our house. I finally stood up and told my father that he either let me leave and find me a new place, or I would run away and let law enforcement in on what was going on. At night, I would sneak out to just go on walks for my own well-being, just to get out of that house of horrors. Unfortunately, the town had a strict curfew. Minors caught out after hours that were not accompanied by an adult would receive a citation and community service. Many times I was caught, and the officers would just escort me home because they knew what was happening but couldn't do anything until someone else reported what was going on. Instead, they just gave me rides home to keep me off the streets and safe. When I told my father that I was leaving, I informed him that the police were made aware and that they would proceed to take action if he didn't let me leave. I escaped on August 18th, 2018. The best fucking day of my life, because my soul could finally be set free. I still deal with a lot, and I'm still haunted by the trauma, but at this point most of it has subsided, at least to the point that most of the details don't take up space in my head anymore. I have also found peace in smoking a lot of green and driving and caring for animals. My spirit is able to show love to things that aren't human because they will never have the ability to hurt me in that way. No amount of times I talk about this out loud will ever make me feel like enough people have heard the truth about what I really endured in that house of horrors. So after that story, I have to turn to you. I want you to think about all the horrible things going wrong in your life. I want you to think about how much worse they could be. And take even the tiniest bit of gratitude that it is not worse. And I don't say that to justify the horrible things that are happening to you. I say that to give you a sliver of hope. That no matter how bad things are, they could be worse. And they will get better. I encourage all of you to find things that bring you peace. Be it caring for animals, going for walks, whatever it is that allows you to center yourself and clear your head. I hope that no matter what you're going through right now, that you find the strength to get through it and the strength to move on. I dealt with this until I was 17. I finally stood up and told my father Oh my gosh, shut the fuck